real shout. We were only 7 together every night. Pull up, but we are not 7 with you.
Hey everyone, welcome to the Everything Goes podcast. My name is Omer, I'm the host of this podcast. And today we're doing something a tad bit different. A cousin of mine asked me something about BTS and K-pop, and we were talking, and he had all these misconceptions that we're used to hear that BTS is K-pop and that K-pop is pop. And basically, he didn't know anything about it. And so he asked me some stuff, and I said, instead of me explaining it to you, why don't we have a discussion over the podcast? And that way it'll be fun, like to talk to a Muggle and see what their thought process is. Now, my cousin is very open-minded about this whole thing and is very interested in it. But obviously he doesn't know anything, so I'm expecting some comments that might not be the nicest, or that might seem a bit, the standard. They look like girls, it's pop, it's bubblegum music, I don't know, all those stuff. I have no idea what he's gonna say, and I'm not gonna crop too much of it out because this is a genuine conversation. So please, please, please don't be too harsh if he says something that's a bit problematic, because he's learning, and the way we educate people is by talking about it, not by yelling at them. Like, he doesn't know any better. So please be nice. So I'm assuming, like, I have a structure, but I have a feeling that it's not gonna stick, that it's gonna be chaotic, we're gonna go on tangents, and I can try and restructure it later by editing. But honestly, I think this is a conversation, and let's keep it chaotic and not worry about it too much. If you guys don't like it, we won't do another, because we only have about an hour to talk today. So if you guys don't like it, we won't continue. If you do, we will. I hope you like it. I hope he likes the music, because I want someone to be able to talk to about BTS in my normal life. Which is currently lacking. So I really hope I can get someone from my family to listen to BTS. And so I hope this works. I hope he likes it, or he gets invested. But I think just learning and being open to learn is a lot. So yeah, so let's get started. So everyone, as I said before, today we have some locals joining us. So this is my cousin Eyal and his lovely wife Maya, who know just a tiny bit about K-pop. So let's see what their thoughts are and what they think it is, and all those lovely misconceptions we always have to deal with. I'm sure will be brought up in this episode. So hi Eyal and Maya.
Hi Omer. Hi everybody.
How are you?
Great.
Please.
Don't answer. I asked Omer, how is she? Coronavirus, we haven't met each other for a while.
Yes, it's been a while. We haven't seen one another. Hopefully we will this Saturday.
Yeah,
hopefully. Yeah, sure. So about K-pop, we don't really know a lot about everything. Everything we heard about K-pop is basically either a Gangnam Style or what Omer told us about. Specifically about BTS, I know that they're really big around the world, but we haven't been exposed to it enough. But hopefully we will today.
Yeah, before we started, I asked him, are we going to watch the El Ali video? Because it's the closest to K-pop that I know.
Yeah. So this is actually how this came about. There's an Israeli singer that has a new song. She's like this young girl. She's 16, 17, and she has this new song that's very K-pop influenced, maybe even slightly stolen. but but very heavy K-pop influence. And
Don't tell anyone.
no, yeah, it's secret. But they asked me what I thought about the song, and I said it's not really my style. I don't like K-pop. And they're like, "What? What do you mean? What happened?" And I said, "I only like BTS. I don't like K-pop." And then we decided to discuss it here. So first things first, like when you hear the word K-pop, what do you think it means?
Well, we know it comes from Korea.
And we know it has pop inside.
Yeah.
So that's like about it.
Yeah. It's funny because you guys are not exactly like, this isn't the first time you heard about K-pop, because if I'm not mistaken, you watched the Netflix Explain video a while ago. I'm not expecting you to remember much from it.
We did.
But
We did actually. We saw a Netflix documentary about K-pop explained.
Oh, wow, that's right. We did watch that.
My memory is a little bit.
Okay, to forget about it.
It was really interesting, actually.
Yeah, it was really interesting.
Yeah.
But it wasn't all that about the music itself. It wasn't
like the industry.
Yeah, they didn't really show like a lot of songs in it.
They showed how the songs were made and how they're written, and that there's like a pattern that goes like, that is behind this.
A documentary that I don't really recommend to a lot of people. There's someone in it that ARMY really hates. ARMY is the name of the BTS fandom. So we're an ARMY. I'm an ARMY. And our dear, not
We
dear.
signed up.
There's a woman called Tamar Herman, and she's the main person that talks in this documentary, which ARMY doesn't really like her very much. So that's why I usually don't recommend.
Israeli, I
Tamar
suppose.
Herman?
No, she's just an American.
Tamar?
It's Jewish American.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Surprising.
Yeah, she gave us a lot of problems.
Also.
Basically, she likes to spin. She's a journalist, so she likes to take just some of the facts and not show the whole story, which can very easily create a false narrative. Because if I'll tell you, for example, let's say, I don't know if you noticed, but all Korean men have to go to the army. But
We didn't know that.
yeah, but unlike here, they have to go to the army somewhere between the age of 18 and 28, and it's up to them to decide. So eventually,
For how long?
BTS, it's
For how long?
a year and a half or two.
Okay.
Yeah. So basically, at one point, BTS will have to go to the army. And
How old are they? I'm sorry if it's that stupid question.
they're between 22 and 28 now.
So someone will have to go real soon.
Real soon, yes. Yeah, so everyone is really
Is it
nervous.
the same? And is it the same like in Israel that if like a celebrity doesn't go to the army, then he gets like bad press or anything?
Very, very bad. Yeah, it's a whole backlash. There was an artist that had American citizenship. So instead of going to the army, and he said he was going to enlist, but instead of going to the army, he decided to go to the US. And now his citizenship in Korea is canceled. He can't come back to Korea. They keep denying him visa. He hasn't seen his Korean family.
The government is involved.
Sorry?
It's not just the public. It's also like official stuff by the government.
Yes. Yeah, so
Okay.
it's very, very, very bad if you don't go to the army. It's not really enough.
PR, bad PR.
Very bad, yes. Basically your life has ended. Because even finding it, like, no matter what job you'll do, no matter like staying as an artist will be difficult, writing songs will be difficult, like.
Oh, little to go through.
Yeah.
Okay.
Do they talk about it, the BTS members?
So they don't talk about it. They just said that then when the time will come, they will do their duty. And because the fandom knows that it's such a big deal that they can't just skip it, then everyone is okay with it. And also it's very common for Western artists to be gone for a year and a half or two. Like it's nothing. When was the last time Adele put out a song, or Rihanna? Like, and you know when they come back, they'll be
How much are they? They're like 6 or 7, right? Remember?
Yeah, they're 7.
So if one goes, the band is still alive.
Yes. So we don't know how they're gonna go. If they're gonna go one at a time, or like a bunch of them together and then another bunch, or all of them at the same time, because it's
Yeah, all of them at the same time, like seize their activities.
And they also can put out songs while they're in the army, because if they recorded something before they enlisted, then they can put it out while they're there. So music can still come out.
But they don't have like Israeli army has like this artist job.
No.
When they can still perform while they're in the army or perform to other soldiers.
Yeah, so at the moment they don't have that. If they enlist, they enlist. There are rumors that they're working on doing something that they might be able to perform still, because their effect on the Korean economy is huge. It's $4.6 billion a year. That's insane. That's like
a country.
What?
That's like a small country.
Yes. Yeah. And it's like, it's 2% of the Korean GDP. It's crazy. It's like they're on the same scale as the United States. But Samsung, Hyundai.
K-pop?
What?
Just BTS?
Just BTS. Yes, it's crazy.
That's unbelievable.
Yes. So it's very, very big. Also, everything they promote sells out. Like they promoted a Hyundai SUV, but when they promoted that, it's a car, it's an SUV, like a manager SUV. So it's really fancy and expensive. It's back order for 6 months. Like if you buy it now, you'll get it maybe 6 months from now, because so many people bought it.
And that's in Korea where they make it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so they have a very big impact on the Korean economy. For example, this is 3 years ago, 1 of every 13 tourists came to Korea because of BTS. And this is 3 years ago. They're much bigger now. Or they had 4 concerts in Korea last year, and they were the equivalent of almost the entire Winter Olympics that Korea hosted.
How can you explain it that they're so big around the world and so big in Korea and we haven't heard of it? I think if I go to...
I think the problem is here.
No, but I'm saying just that if I go and ask every one of my friends, which like they know about music, they hear the radio, none of them will even know what I'm talking about. Do you even know a song of BTS?
Yeah,
and
you know what's funny? That in the 2019 radio chart that they did like for the whole year, a BTS song got to number 40 or something, or 38.
Wow.
Yeah, and no one has any idea. They're not played on radio, but the teenagers do know them. Kids here know them. Like they had a, sorry?
YouTube, Instagram.
YouTube is big, and it influences a lot of, especially teen, and also TikTok. So yeah, so that has a lot of impact. So for example, they did like one of their concerts was in the movie theaters here, and it was sold out. So people do know it. It's just usually younger generation, like because they're not played on radio. If they were played on radio, I'm sure the Israeli public would love them, just like I'm sure the American public, the Russian and England and French and everywhere, because they're big everywhere, because everyone can relate to their music, and they have so many different genres that they do.
In Korean?
Yeah. They sing mostly in Korean, yes.
So
but
how can you relate to that?
It's hard to relate to a language.
Do you remember in 2005 when Dragon Starting Day was out? That song, Numa Numa.
Yeah, but it was a parody, and it wasn't like successful. Like the artist didn't go and have like another song, another big hit.
That's true.
So I'm saying that like one song, okay, but how can you relate over time to a language that you don't really understand?
That's very true, and the same can be said about Gangnam Style and other songs.
Another just one song, one wonder.
Yeah, and they're also like meme songs. They're funny. They're, like you said, a parody. But they're not, you don't really get into the substance of it.
Okay.
And I think that's what's different about BTS, because their songs are not just catchy. Like musically, they're very catchy. They will stick with you, even if you don't know. They have enough English lyrics in them that you can sing along from time to time. So
you do have English lyrics.
They have some English, like especially in the chorus, they would have English words.
That's
so
how they get you.
A little bit.
With English in the chorus.
Yeah, that's how they get you.
That's how they get you, exactly. So it gets stuck in your ear, but then
you play it on YouTube, and then you get
Listen, I hated the Elali song at
No,
first.
it's terrible.
Yeah.
I found myself just wanting to listen to it again and again just because it got stuck in my head.
Yeah.
But I don't think it's a really good song. I mean, it's
It's not
poppy, it's
perfect.
nice, fun, but it just gets.
I have to tell a story. 2 days ago, I was with our son, which is 1 year and 2 months old, and I played songs on YouTube, and like he was pretty like he didn't got excited about any one of them, and then Elali's song got played, and he just stood hypnotized in front of the television, in front of the YouTube video, and started dancing, and it didn't happen in any other video that I played
Maybe
that
it's like
afternoon.
a special frequency that only young people can.
I heard that Static and Vanel has the same influence on babies because
Yes.
it's like repetitive.
Or
Babies
Netta
love
with toy.
what Netta, yeah. And they like that repetitive sound, and he was just hypnotized to that song. He was dancing. It was so cute to see that.
Yeah.
And that was the only song he reacted to.
Yeah, so it's musically the songs are very catchy. They get stuck in your ear usually, and that's how they get you. But what's different about BTS to others is that their lyrics have a lot of substance. This podcast actually started as lyric analysis, and we would talk for like 3 hours and only do like 5 songs because there's so much to talk about with each song.
Like what?
Like what? Give us an example because.
Okay, so for example, their newest album is called Map of the Soul 7, and Map of the Soul is a concept by the psychologist Carl Jung, where he takes the soul and divides it into 3 parts. That's the persona, the shadow, and the ego, where the persona is what we present to the outside. It's not necessarily fake, but it's what we choose to show. The shadow is what we hide within us, like our fears, the things that we can't handle that we hide from ourselves. And the ego is the combination of both. And basically this album follows the whole series that was called Love Yourself, which was like a story. It was 3 albums. That the first one was about meeting that special someone and falling in love, and then realizing that that relationship was toxic, not necessarily because that person was bad, but because you weren't whole and you weren't happy with yourself, so you changed yourself to fit them. And then you realize that you actually need to love yourself first before going into a relationship. So this is, how can you love yourself if you don't know yourself? So this album followed it, and it goes through understanding what your persona is, how what's your shadow, and how to interact with it, how to understand it and not fear it, not just shove it.
They're able to communicate it with a pop song. It's amazing.
It's amazing. It really is.
And is it a concept album or just the song?
Sorry?
Is it the whole album or is it
So
just
it's
the
the
song?
whole album. Yeah, it's a whole album. It's actually, they do trilogies of albums usually.
I have a question. When you say you do lyric analysis, do you use like Google Translate or anything? Because you say there's only a few English lines in the chorus.
I'm also guessing that they probably make it easier for people around the world. I mean, they probably publish
with
with a
translation?
translation, yeah? No?
Yeah, so for songs with the music video, they do publish and translation. But even that, sometimes you miss the Korean connection, because sometimes they will say something that means something in Korean that the translation doesn't work.
Lost in translation.
Yeah, exactly, lost in translation. So we have army translators that like break down the songs and not just translate every song, but also add the Korean connotation and explanation to it. For example, one of my favorite songs is called Bepse, which means it's a name of a bird. It's called Crotit, which is like this tiny, adorable bird. But it also has a second name that means a silver spoon. So what the song is about the older generation in Korea saying to the younger ones, how come you don't have a job yet? How come you can't get money? How come you don't have a house? When I was your age, I already had a house, I already found a job. Why do you keep switching jobs all the time? Get married, have kids, why don't you do that? And basically the younger generation and the thing is, like with the song that says they compare the older generation to storks that have very long legs, and they are a bebse, which has very, very tiny short legs, so they can't catch up to the storks. And the storks are like saying, come on, where are you? Like, I'm doing this, why can't you do that? And it's all like, and that you learn about Korean culture and how similar it is to the rest of the world, that you always have that boomer generation, that older generation that says, I've done that, why can't you do that? And not understanding that the world is very, very different now. And that we have a lot of stuff that we need to put up with that they didn't. And add to that, Korea and Seoul specifically has a very high unemployment rate for young adults, and has a very high suicide rate for young adults. So basically they're saying, we've had enough, stop coming at us. We're trying our best, we can't catch up. There's actually a Korean word, I mean, it's called the samposadet, which means that you've given up on having kids, getting married and getting a house. There's like an actual word for it.
Yeah, I think we tried, not from Korea, but from Japan, that show Queer Eye. They were doing a transformation on someone like that, basically.
Yeah.
I don't remember that part.
Okay, so and then they actually added to it, and there's a word called impossible, which means you also give up on hopes and dreams. That you've basically given up on life. There's an actual word for it. So you have this song that's very hard-hitting, very against the way the system is now, very against older generation, which is very uncommon in Korea. And it's somehow under K-pop. And
why is the unemployment rate so high? How come?
Why what?
The unemployment rate is so high. Why is it so hard?
There's a lot of competition. It's very hard to get a job outside the big cities, and inside the big cities, the competition is very, very big. It's also, they have a very hard, like, we think we work a lot, and we do, compared to Europe, for example. But
they work twice as hard.
Yeah, no, but they work like twice as hard. Like, school there is from the morning till 10 p.m. And then they go and have like private lessons sometimes till 1 a.m. And that's normal.
It's like the culture is about like having a schedule, not having any free time. It's like having a schedule for every minute of your day.
Yes, and also it's very competitive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like that course that you like have to do everything right, and you have to do everything like by the book. And otherwise, if you fall down on if you fall off the wagon for 1 second, it's like, it's gone. That's it.
Yeah, exactly. And like women that work after they have kids, it's not the best. It can even, like, when your kid applies to college, if you work, it works against them as a woman. So it's a very problematic and very, very difficult.
Against them.
Because it's like the woman is not investing her best at her kids, so like they didn't get the best of the best education that they could have had if the mom would invest in her whole like 120% in like raising them, so they're not the best people.
Yeah,
I get it.
Make sure that everything is on point.
It's like on point, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but is it like, do men earn enough so that women can stay at home and raise their kids?
I'm assuming mostly don't. That's why Seoul has the lowest number of kids in the world.
Really?
Wow.
Yeah.
More than Japan that
Yes.
growth empty from children?
Yes.
That's sad.
Yeah. They have less than, I think they have 1.09 kids per.
Is it because the women don't want to like take on that responsibility? Or is it because that like it's too expensive? But like,
it's all of it.
Is it because of the hard conditions at work that, like, I mean, you can't let go for a second and like think about getting pregnant?
It's all of it. If you get pregnant, you can't go back to work. If you're a man, you have to sustain like all of a sudden 3 people on one salary. Also, like part of the working culture is also going to a bar at the end of the night and drinking, and that will be out of the picture. Getting a bigger apartment in a big city costs more. It's all of it.
Wow.
Yeah. So back to K-pop, and what is K-pop?
And Tamar Herman, we didn't talk about her.
Yeah. So she, right? So basically, she did an article about how ARMY feels about BTS going to the ARMY, and like most ARMY are like completely fine with it. We understand that it's a part of the culture. Everyone's okay with it. And she found this tiny petition that some people filled about asking them not to go to the ARMY. It's like only, I don't know, 100 signatures or something. And she did like an article, ARMY doesn't want BTS to go to the ARMY or something like that. So she spins stuff. And she calls ARMY names, and she tries to make, she does a lot of.
Why doesn't she like the ARMY?
It's not that she doesn't like, it's that she used to be the main K-pop writer. She's been writing about K-pop since like 2014 or something.
Sounds like she's trying to provoke more than anything else.
She's trying to get like the clickbait articles that will cause more engagement, and actually the opposite happened. People, instead of giving her engagement, they screenshot her articles so people can read what she wrote without reading the article. She's on the verge of getting fired, basically.
Sounds like the ARMY is really loyal. It's really like willing to go to war for BTS.
Yes, it's an actual army. We're very organized.
Yeah.
They're like organized.
Real ARMY wishes there will be as organized as BTS.
How are you organized? WhatsApp groups, Facebook groups,
Twitter,
YouTube channels.
Twitter.
What?
It's all on Twitter.
Twitter. Okay.
Yes. So wait, before we go about ARMY, let's talk about what is K-pop. This is whole tangent. Yeah. So basically, the word K-pop, when you hear it, you can think two things. Either it's Korean popular music or Korean pop music, which is completely different things, because Korean popular music would be music that's popular in Korea, and Korean pop music will be the bubblegum type songs. And it's actually neither of those. Yeah, so what we know, what the West calls K-pop, is actually in Korea, it's called idol music, which is a very, very specific type of music that's not divided by the genre, because it can be hip hop, it can be R&B, it can be rock, it can be pop, it can be jazz, it can be everything.
Idol music as in like boy bands? That's the
Exactly.
thing?
It's boy bands and girl bands, girl groups. So, and they go through a very specific system. Like they're usually found when they're like teenagers or young kids, and they're trained in dancing and singing and manners and a second language and all that. And then if they're successful, like the company says, okay, you guys are together, this is now a group, and they usually write the songs for them, not always, but usually. And they're amazing performers. They do these really, really elaborate performances, and then they just start putting out songs one after the other. It's like, it's crazy. They just keep, like, they put like 2-3 albums a year, because they have such a short time to do it in.
So where does BTS fall under the category of idol music?
So they started out like that, sort of. Unlike, they were supposed to be a hip hop group, actually. And like 2 of the people there were part of the underground rap scene in Korea.
The what?
And they were underground rappers.
Oh, underground rappers.
Yeah. So, and the thing about rappers is that they usually write their own lyrics, right? That's like the main thing about rap music, is that you write your own lyrics. So when they joined this company, and they were supposed to be a hip hop group, and then it decided to be an idol group. So they had vocalists added and dancers added, but the main thing stayed the same. Like, they stayed very true to their hip hop roots, especially in the beginning. Like, all the songs in BTS, almost all the songs, are written by BTS members. Sometimes they're composed by BTS members. Sometimes they're produced by BTS members with other people, but they're almost always a BTS member on a track. For example, one of the members, which is like the leader of the group, there's an official leader of the group. He has over 160 songs that he wrote.
It's a lot. It's like a whole career.
Wow.
Exactly, it's a lot. And
How many songs do BTS have?
I think I would say about 100, about 200 overall. Because the thing that's very, very unique, because they're all creators, they sometimes do stuff outside of BTS. So some of them have albums outside of BTS or songs outside of BTS.
And are they successful? Because a lot of times, like, NSYNC started out big, but only Justin Timberlake survived.
Right. Yeah. So here they are very successful.
But I wonder if I'll go now. We haven't been abroad for a while, and now with the corona and everything. But I wonder if I'll go like to the States now, or to Great Britain or whatever. I wonder if I'll witness it, if I'll see anything about it.
I'm
Because
sure you
like
will,
2 years
because
ago when I was, no?
Now you're aware.
They're not on the radio anywhere almost. But yeah, very, very frustrating. It's very frustrating.
Unbelievable. It's like they're going under the radar of every mainstream media.
Yes.
But
They're
still,
so successful.
so big.
It's like the whole mainstream media is obsolete. It's like
it's okay, boomer.
it's like a boomer.
Yeah, we are. I think we are. No, it's crazy. It's like we live in a different world than you're living in.
Yes, it's
Omar, you're an alien.
Or maybe
crazy.
we are.
Come in peace.
yeah. Yeah, they're barely played on radio. Like here we don't hear them. In the US you won't hear them. In their latest album in the US got 0 radio play. No station played their music. Even though they won the Billboard Awards for Best Group. They beat Maroon 5, they beat what's their name? That rock group.
Okay, can we play some songs now? Because I really want to hear that.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I'm trying to think of which one.
What's your favorite one? And I want to hear the map of the soul. What you were talking about? What you were trying to ask about?
Yeah. Okay, so I'm gonna play. I don't know if I can play. Is it a live show or the music?
No.
That's
The music video, and if you can put something on that has subtitles, please.
Yeah, of course.
That will be very helpful.
Okay, so this is Black Swan. It's from their newest album, from Map of the Soul 7.
If we're getting addicted to this song and we can't stop humming it, we're gonna blame you.
Doesn't care.
And if we're gonna have to play like BTS all around the house because we can't get the songs out of our head, we're coming back. We're gonna get you.
I don't know if that's that kind of song.
Okay.
Basically, this song, just for context, it's from Map of the Soul 7. It's right when you realize that you have this shadow, these fears, and in their case, like their biggest fear is that music will lose its meaning. Okay, and they have a quote here that says, "This will be my first death," because basically, there's a quote from a very, very, very famous dancer that says that her first death will be when she won't be able to dance anymore. So this is the same thing. It's like their first death will be when music no longer has its meaning.
Okay, let's go.
All right.
And it's called Black Swan, and it's both correlating to the ballet and the movie.
The movie.
Actually, the movie Black Swan has a lot of stuff from Map of the Soul by Carl Jung from his psychology theories.
Mm-hmm.
So it's all connected.
I didn't see.
No, you didn't
So let's
see
see if you tell me if you can't hear this.
it?
Okay.
You watch?
בסדר, אני אשים את הקליפ. אתם מבינים? אני לא אראה את הקטע, אז אני אשים את הקליפ, זה בסדר.
Is it them? Is it all of them?
Yeah.
So on top of everything, they're like professional dancers, all of them, right?
Yeah.
Good that.
I like the beat. It's very nice. There's the English part. The dancing is really impressive. It's like top-notch dancing. Even though I can't tell them apart. It's like everyone's the same with different hair
No, they
colors.
have different hair colors.
I know, but that's the only thing
How
that sets them
racist
apart.
of you.
Sorry.
They're all very feminine.
Androgynous.
Very feminine, and they have makeup on.
They have a lot of makeup on. Yeah.
Usually men wear makeup in a way that you can't tell.
It's like a lot of iconic effect in their voice. They don't sing like clean. But it's nice.
Oh, it's very catchy.
It is. It is.
We're gonna have a problem now.
And it does remind, I mean, now I get where Ellie got her influence by.
The overacting, like exaggerated.
But it's
face.
that's their thing. I mean, it's like, it's aware of itself. It's not like
Yeah,
overacting.
in Annalie. We have to play Annalie's song in this podcast. I've been singing it for 2 days, like, so we have to play it.
I can see myself getting this chorus stuck in my head. Yeah, for sure. Thank you, Omar.
Wow. Let's do two more, okay? Search for on MV. Not MV, sorry. On Kinetic Manifesto.
Yeah. Do your
Then,
thing.
your
Do your thing. Do your thing.
Do your thing.
Hey, what was
Bop,
besides
bop, bop.
זה כאילו נראה לי that's kind of familiar. I think I saw it somewhere.
It was trending.
Like, first time I'm seeing it.
That specifically this.
Specifically this frame.
They're such good dancers. You told me once that one of them is in charge of like photography, right?
No, they have actual choreographer.
I'm watching Gomez. Yeah. I like the one. I like the previous one better.
Oh, this one is also nice. It's less catchy. It's less like poppy.
They're so feminine. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
They're just so feminine. He wears earrings. What?
What's wrong with that?
No, it's not wrong. I'm just saying they're very feminine.
This one kind of sounds like a Eurovision song. Oh, but the last one was a lot better.
The previous one was better for us. Oh, it continued.
It's a 5-minute song. It's not that common in pop songs. Kind of like they made a song for them to show their dancing skills.
Yeah, exactly. Because think about a concert. Like this in a concert would be amazing. I want to show you a live performance, but I can't decide which song.
Wait, let's see another one. Let's watch another one.
Yeah, I want to show you a live performance.
I want the song that you talked about.
No, but that I'll choose.
Which one?
The Map of the Soul.
This is all from Map of the Soul.
No, I mean the one about like the toxic relationship. The one.
Ah, okay. So this is not from Map of the Soul. This is from the previous era. It's called Love Yourself. It has 3 albums: Her, Tear, and Answer. And like each one of them is like a different part of a relationship. So do you want the fun part, the love part, the angry part, or the love yourself part?
Or the what?
The love
There's the point where you meet the person, the part where it's all fake love, or the part that's like love yourself.
Love yourself.
Okay, so
I think I found it.
yeah, so it's the idol one.
No, this is the Idol and this is the Love Yourself.
Yeah, so they're all from Love Yourself. Idol is the Love Myself part. The one under that is Singularity, and that's about it's about the toxic part. It's only one of the members, and it's very R&B, very neo soul R&B.
That's good.
So Idol. That's what I'm.
So do Idol. Idol. I really love Idol, but not everyone loves Idol.
Okay, let's see.
See how Israeli Muggles react to it.
Yeah, I really like Idol. It's so crazy.
Crazy. Okay.
Yeah, let's go.
Yeah, the movie, the MV is very crazy. In concert, it's amazing.
Hitting play.
There's a giraffe.
They all have different hair colors.
Yeah.
That's a lot better than the second one. It's like the same genre as the second one, but it's just made better.
A lot of like, this is what I expected to see when we talked about K-pop.
Yeah.
It's like this is like straight on.
But if you hear the instrumental in the back, that's traditional Korean music, like traditional Korean instruments.
Which one? The what?
The music in the back, the instruments in the back. This is party music. Good party music that I would love to hear. I would love to listen to.
Kind of reminds me of like Black Eyed Peas
No,
in some way.
it's a lot more electronic music than for
No,
me.
but like songs that like are made for you to hear at a party and like hear the song come up and like be excited.
Yeah. Thinking about pool parties.
So colorful.
Pool party.
Yeah. We're doing the Gangnam style move.
Right, yeah. It's kind of like Oppa Gangnam style. The Oppa Gangnam style. I'm sorry if that's insulting. I can see myself playing that like on a random afternoon.
I can see myself enjoying going to the concert even without knowing the song because it has such good energy.
But I have to say that without the translation, it would be very hard to follow what they're saying.
Right.
Like it's like watching French when you don't have translation. It's like one big word.
Yeah, so let's talk about a bit about this song specifically, because this song is fun and it's a party and it's crazy and colorful. And like you said, it has like a bit of a Western vibe and the Gangnam style and all that. But it's actually a very, very big, important song. If you remember, like we said, that K-pop, what we think about as K-pop is actually idol music. And it's part of this mentality of being an idol, being a part of a group, and having the songs written for you. And some of the members, when they joined BTS, they got a lot of backlash for becoming a part of this and actually like being a sellout. Like they're now no longer considered artists; they're considered idols. And idols aren't artists; they're performers, they're dancers, but they're not artists because they don't have any say.
They're just the face. Okay.
Yeah, which is really funny to think about because like most pop music we hear today is like that. If you look at the songs with the Shawn Mendes and Camila Cabello, what was it, Senorita? 15 people wrote that song. It took 15 people to write that song. So like.
Also, what do they have to prove? I mean, they're so big, they're so famous, they're so like already like achieved everything.
Yeah.
By them, like they did write a lot of songs earlier prior to that.
Yeah.
And then you come out with one song that's like even if it is like synthetic and someone else wrote it, whatever. I mean, they already are what they are.
They proved themselves.
Yeah, but this backlash that they got it when they just started out, before they were anything. So people are like saying you're no longer an artist, you're an idol, you don't have any say, you're fake, you're a sellout, all that. And they got a lot of hate when they just started out. They came from a very, very tiny company. They weren't the standard K-pop that was at the scene at the moment. So
Was it anyone specific who like chose to go in that direction? Did they like
And
have
got the
anybody?
backlash?
No, but like, did they have anyone to blame for it, or was it like a band decision to make this song? You know?
what do you mean?
I mean, like you said earlier that like every one of them is like in charge of something, right? And so I'm asking, was there one person from the band in charge of like writing this song and going in that direction, and then he's basically the one to blame for all the backlash?
No, so it's not that every person is in charge of something, but more like they all write and like the company takes the good parts, or they decide together, this will be the direction that we're going, will be how the song is laid out. They all have an option to write, and then the certain parts from each member get taken and put together. So it's not, there isn't one person that decides. However, there is one that writes more than most. But on the direction of the group, they decide as a group and as a company. It's not one person. So this song was another thing they got, not just we're not artists, we're not idols, but also this song came out after they started succeeding in the West. And a lot of people in Korea that like love to criticize them said, oh, they're getting Western, oh, they're becoming more American, the songs are more English. So in this song specifically, they both have less English than they had in the previous, but they also used a lot of Oriental sounds and Korean traditional sounds. That word also is a Korean word that like has a certain meaning, and the beat, like the it also like a traditional Korean sound. So they put a lot of Korean, like the tiger that jumps. There's a rabbit in the moon if you saw in the video. It's all a lot of
shark.
Yeah, the shark is like their attackers, but there's a lot of elements that are from traditional Korean stuff to show that they're still very appreciating of their Korean culture. And when they
Was there like any drama along the years? Like
a lot,
but like between the members of
with the members, there is they live together. Wait, before that, just I want to finish that sentence. When they performed this song, Idol, not in their concerts, but in music show, they did before that like a 5-minute or 3-minute dance break that was all traditional Korean dancers and dancing and like with a fan and with drums and all that. So they're very proud of their brand, and that's why they don't have an English album. That's why they don't have a whole English song.
Is the massive like colorfulness? It has. Like, is it that a Korean expression as well?
No, so the whole color, the amount of people that you saw there, it's all to say there's many versions of me, but they're all me. So I love all the versions of myself. And also if you saw, there's the big figures that like CGI, and that's like their personas that they show to the world. And it's bigger than them, because you see them like dancing on this tiny stage, but these big personas are behind them. But they're saying it's still a part of us. So yeah, and you asked if their members fight. Sometimes, obviously, people fight. There's, especially when you have creative forces, and they live together, all 7 of them. They've been living together for like 10 years now. So
there are arguments, but do they like? Sometimes even like, you know, in Western culture, like you create strife in order to make it interesting, you know, like, I don't know, like in the Kardashians or like reality shows or whatever. So do they like let out all of the fighting between themselves, or do they like usually keep like a front? Yeah.
Yeah, so they don't really keep appearances much. If they have a fight, they have a fight, but it's not, because they've been living together for so long, you don't have an explosion. They're usually very good when they think about when they started out, they were teenagers. They were 18, 19, one of them was 15 when they just started. So what they would do is they would gather because they had like, especially two of them have they're very, very creative, and they have different ways to create. One of them puts more emphasis on music, the other more on lyrics, and they're very passionate about what they do. So they would get into a lot of arguments when they started. There's a story where one of them would, when they started just fighting and throwing laundry at one another, and it's laundry, like a third guy did the laundry and folded and everything, so he just yelled at them, and then they're like standing in the corner, like and forgiving each other. Or two of them, yeah, or two of them would. It's a very, very famous incident that they were still trainees. It was like before they started, like had songs and stuff, and they were practicing dancing, and one of them wanted to get dumplings before, but then they were practicing and the other wanted after. And it's, it's very tribal and it's nothing, but you're tired, you're exhausted, you train for 16 hours a day.
Oh, that's why I asked, because
yeah, so they had a huge fight. It's famous, like we know about it, like it's 10 years later and people still talk about that fight. Yeah, over dumplings. They even have a song now that in this new album.
The fans are still talking about it.
No, yeah. What would you talk about?
They are still talking about it.
Like, okay.
In their new album, they have a song called Friends, which is like just two people, and one of the things is they mentioned the dumpling incident. So it's very good. So obviously, yes, they fight. They have a lot of documentary shows and a lot of behind the scenes and variety shows, like reality shows and stuff like that. So one time before a concert, two of the members argued, and it was a very big argument again over something so small, but their emotions are so high that things can blow up out of proportion very easily. But what they do is they know how to put stuff aside, do the show that they need, because it was right before a concert. So they put it aside, put it on, and after that they sat down, they all talked, they iron things out, they don't let things fester. Like they talk about stuff. So yeah, they have arguments, but they know how to do it, how to solve them. So, and they're very good friends. Like they hang out outside of the group as well. Like they had a 6-week vacation. Two guys went one place, two went fishing. Like they're very close.
I mean, when you're like a duo or when you're like a trio, it's a lot harder because you're in each other's face all the time. And when you're like 6 or 7 or 8, like you can have like, yeah.
Do they have like relationships?
Yeah, so it's, there's a lot of people say that in K-pop, part of the thing is that they have in their contracts that they're not allowed to date.
Really?
BTS doesn't have that in their contract, but the thing is that even if they do, like it's like, it's like tabloids. Like if obviously people date, they can't not date. And in Korea, that you have like their version of the paparazzi, like following them and stuff. BTS didn't have any dating rumors or scandals too much or anything. There was one, but it was like tiny and meaningless. And like the fans are pretty okay with them dating because they have a lot of Western fans, it's very normal in the West for artists to date. And I think in Korea, it's starting to be more understandable that these are people and they should have experiences, they should date. And also they're getting older, like they'll get married, they'll have kids, it's just living.
Yeah.
So they're very, very, very busy. So I don't know when they'll have time to date.
Yeah,
like a one-night stand or something.
I thought about it when you said that they're living together, like 7 grown men living together, and that was like, okay.
Yeah. Yeah, they also they share, like 2 of them share a room, but they're very close and they're used to they have the option. They all have apartments that they bought with millions of dollars. But
I can only imagine.
Yeah. So they all bought apartments. They all have if they want to go and not be with the group, they can, and it's common. Like most idols, once they succeed, they go their own way. Like they live in their own apartments, they get their own life. But BTS, they are really, really close. They said before that they don't want to stop living together anytime soon. I'm sure once they'll have girlfriends, it'll be more than. So this was fun. Do you have any, like, we can do this again. Like, I can talk about BTS endlessly.
Maybe we can like have another half an hour of video clip watching when we were.
Oh, that would be fun.
Huh?
Yeah.
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 Okay.
So we'll cut it here for today. You might see Maya again, especially if this succeeds. It gets a lot of likes. And please help me get my family into BTS. I'll have someone here to talk to about BTS.
I'm hearing the song, the last song, like in my head, like repeatedly.
Yeah.
I'm still stuck with the LLM, so.
Oh, we didn't play Ali.
No, it's okay. It's okay. We're not playing her.
On Saturday, we're gonna do that.
Okay.
Thank you all.
Thank you, Omar.
Thank you for coming. It was so much fun.
Yo,
Okay,
anytime.
bye.
Bye-bye.
Yay.